Welcome to All Things Woman. Welcome. This is my first live, so bear with me. Welcome to the channel, All Things Woman. I am here because I am talking about becoming the woman you want to become. And how do you go about doing that and getting the treatment that you deserve? So, in order to become the woman you want to become, you cannot allow the opinions of other people to stop you. You can't allow your past to stop you. There are many people who would like to hold your past against you. There are many people who would like to say, oh, well, you never used to be feminine. You were never a woman that, spoke a certain way or acted a certain way. Why all of a sudden you're being this way now? So when you're becoming more of a feminine woman and you're leaning more into that, you're going to have to become accustomed to people looking at you as if you're putting on a show. I know a lot of people, they're used to women being more masculine, being more manly. They're accustomed to women who are taking glory, taking pride in their exhaustion. And as feminine women, we do not take pride in being tired and exhausted. I often ask myself, why do they want us tired? I think people are accustomed to women running around taking care of everybody else and not so much accustomed to us looking out for our own well-being first and foremost. And because of that, there's this idea that women are not supposed to be soft. They're not supposed to be gentle. They're not supposed to desire to rest and to just relax and to be a presence in the home, to make a house a home. Nowadays, a lot of women are working outside of the home. Nothing wrong with that because I work outside the home too. However, our number one priority was never meant to be hustling and grinding and doing things the way men do it. And in my opinion, the reason why things are out of order is because a lot of men have dropped the ball when it comes to being that strong masculine lead that we need them to be in general. Of course, this doesn't apply to all men, but when you live in a society where men are being conditioned to look for partners, people that can actually help them along instead of being the lead and providing the way they're supposed to, now you have the opportunity for women to come in and be so strong-minded, so strong-willed. Not saying there's anything wrong with being strong-minded, but when you have a woman that is essentially looking at the man in her life as if he's stupid or he can't do as much as she can do, so she feels like she has to be forced into that masculine role, that's when you have that, that it's out of order. Everything is kind of out of order. And it's not because she necessarily wants it that way. A lot of women, in my opinion, I feel like they think they have no choice but to step into that masculine role because the men in their life or the men they have saw around them are not really taking the lead the way they're supposed to. And I'm not trying to make it seem like it's completely a man's fault if a woman is not in her femininity. However, because of the way things are now, many men are not being trained or I don't want to say trained, but they're not being taught the mentality of when you get married, it is your job to provide and protect. It's now the mindset of we're going into this relationship as partners, almost like a business arrangement. And when you go into a marriage as a business arrangement, of course, now you're going to expect you from the other person. And if that's a man, if he feels like, he's the man that doesn't have that mindset of protector and provider, he's going to look at the woman as if, hey, I'm going out here hustling and grinding, working, 40, 50, 60 hours a day or a week. You should be doing the same thing. And that's not the way it's supposed to be in a marriage when the husband is a protector and a provider. The roles are different. But this new way of looking at marriage and looking at relationships between man and woman, it's almost like a business arrangement. And as feminine women, we don't look at our husbands or the people we desire to marry as business arrangements. We understand that there is structure and order that comes with having a relationship that will allow you to thrive in your femininity. Now, of course, You do whatever is going to be beneficial for you and your spouse. However, if there was no set role as into who's going to be doing what will happen down the line for a lot of women, they'll go into a marriage or go into a relationship and they say, oh, I'm a ride or die, I got my man, and all these other things. She has so much ambition and so much strength, and whatever she needs to do for the family. But what'll happen is that after years of doing that, she discovers, okay, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm no longer in my 30s. My stamina is not the way it used to be as far as going out into the world and hustling and grinding and doing different things. I now wish I had a man that was able to cover me. And what's happening is that a lot of women are getting into relationships with men that are unable to cover them. They're getting into relationships with men that they are attracted to. Chemistry is great, they're very good companions, but when it comes to being a provider and a protector, the man does not have it. And she overlooked that earlier on because she was in the prime of her life, feeling like she can take on the world and do whatever she needs to do. But when you start to age as a woman, you will begin to wish that you had a man that can cover you and that can carry you if need be. And there's nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, we have to get back to the times where women were okay with being submissive to the right man, to their husbands, to the right type of man, a man that was a man of his word, a man that was able to lead his family, a man that honored God and honored himself. But because we've gotten so far away from that, we now have this dynamic of women that are, getting together with men that they can strong arm. You can almost see it, when you go out in public, you go to different places. I know I've gone to different places where I see women who are essentially in control of the situation. They're in control of the whole relationship dynamic. They tell the man when, how, and what to do. I saw a clip the other day of it was like one of the divorce court episodes, and the judge said that the man made like $5,100 a week or something like that, but from out of the check, the woman was giving him, out of his check, the woman was giving him $25 a week, and she would be keeping the rest. Now, I'm not assuming that she was being irresponsible with it, but I'm assuming she was taking care of the needs of the household and things like that, because maybe he was unable to. They didn't say that. I don't want to read into whatever's not there, but that right there kind of shows you what we're dealing with here today in society. And the fact that the man is making $5,100 a week, he has to be smart at whatever he's doing. I think he was an engineer, and it might be that she's just managing the money. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that she was so adamant about, like, she has to take all of his money and give him the $25, to me, that signifies just because a man can make money, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily smart. And we have to be mindful of who we decide to attach ourselves to, because this comes back to the type of woman you want to be later down the line. You have to ask yourself, especially if you have children, do you want to be mothering your kids and your man? Do you want to feel like you have to be in a situation where not only do you have to look after your kids and make sure that, they're growing and nurturing them and training them up, but now you're in the position of having to train up your man. And as a feminine woman, I can tell you that will hinder your femininity when you have to mother a man. Of course, it goes without saying, everybody is not strong in the same area. So he might not be strong in the role of finances and you are. Of course, you look over the finances as long as everything is getting done. He's providing the way he's supposed to. But when it comes down to the fact that a man allowed her to take his entire check and just give him $25, and the fact that they were in divorce court, he was not okay with that. And it had to get to that point. That kind of showed that who was in that dominant position. And as feminine women, we don't want that. Like, we don't want to. I can tell you, it's exhausting having to feel like you are mothering a man. You don't want to do that. And for some men, it has to get to the point where, okay, you decide, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's like one of two things are going to happen. You're going to let go of the man, or you're going to give that man an opportunity to man up and show what he can do as a man because you refuse to continue to mother him. So that's the one or two things that will have to happen. You will have to either leave the man, or you will have to decide, okay, I'm done mothering. I'm done, back leading. He's going to have to do this because I'm ready to be a woman. I'm ready to truly be who I was created to be as a woman. I'm ready to rest. I don't want to run behind you and tell you what to do. After a certain amount of time, you should know these things. And if you don't, I don't know what else to say. That's the kind of mindset a feminine woman has to take when it comes to the relationship aspect of being a feminine woman. When it comes to the man in your life, your husband, you cannot be a feminine woman and back lead. You cannot be a feminine woman and have to mother your man. Either you're going to have to get rid of the man, or you're going to have to step back and let him man up. And in my experience, I have seen that when you loosen up a little bit and you begin to adopt the more mindset of, well, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm letting it all fall apart. Just wasn't quite sure of how to lead because he was accustomed to you being the lead. When you fall back, he will man up. He will say, okay, I got to figure this out because she's not doing this for me anymore, or she's not showing me exactly how to do things. I have to figure it out. Men get value when they have to figure things out. Men get value when they understand that they are the one that we are supposed to look to and lean on. And, something goes wrong. They're not going to, think about it. Somebody breaks into your house in the middle of the night. Who's going downstairs to check? You or him? Many women have been put in a position of having to run downstairs and check. And what we're trying to do here as feminine women, we want to reverse that dynamic. And it really starts with us. It's not their fault. In my opinion, a lot of it is not the men's fault, especially when it comes to the Black community. I have to speak to us because a lot of us as women are very loudmouth, overbearing. We're very obnoxious. We just feel like we're loud and proud and have to always have our words spoken loudly for the masses, even when we're not saying anything. We always feel like we have to step in to rescue and save people when nobody really made us or put us in that position to do so. However, we took it upon ourselves to say, you know what? If you're not doing it, I'm going to step in and do it, instead of letting things just play out the way they need to play out. Because we are afraid to allow ourselves to rest and let somebody else do it. I'm here to tell you, let somebody else do it. It took me a long time to get to that point too, because I was that strong-willed, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it, make things happen kind of woman. And in a way, I still am that way because there's nothing wrong with having ambition. There's nothing wrong with having goals. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have a life that you're proud of. But when you're in a relationship with a man and you're a woman, there's no reason why you should be going out exhausting yourself to the point that you are fussing, bickering, yelling, cussing, ready to fight everybody because you are out of alignment. There's no reason. So, and that's my opinion. And I'm just going from my experience, from my personal experience, and from what I've seen throughout my family, friends. I see it on a daily basis of how women are exhausted because they have to be the lead in their relationships. And the first principle of changing and being the feminine woman you want to become, if you are in a relationship, you're going to have to let that man lead, because otherwise you will not be able to catch a break. And when I say lead, I mean lead in making financial decisions. I mean lead. And when it comes to different things that maybe need to be done in the household, I mean lead when it comes to figuring out what you want to have for dinner. Something even as small as that. You know, my husband, he used to have a way of just, you know, going along with whatever I said. He never really had an opinion about anything. It was just like, whatever you want to do, you know, whatever, you know, it's up to you kind of thing. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. And what he didn't realize, and I know some people might be hearing that and saying, well, Dag, you know, he's giving you free reign to be and do whatever you want to do. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is even when it comes to serious matters, if it is just, it's up to you, whatever you want to do, then it's almost like you're leaving me to make big decisions and you don't have an opinion either way, which is not right. And it took a while. I've been married for 18 years, and it took a while for us to get to that point to realize, okay, no, when it comes to decision making on heavy things, especially, you should have some input here. Your opinion matters. And as the leader and head of the home, I will follow your lead. You have wisdom from God and you're a smart person. I will follow your lead. A lot of times when men decide to say, you know, whatever you want to do, it's up to you, I don't think they really realize how much pressure that puts on a woman, because especially when she doesn't want that. Like, and it's the conditioning. And as feminine women, we have to condition and train people how to see us in a softer, gentler way. I have seen people of other nationalities, of other cultures, of other races, and they will look at their husbands and he's telling her, okay, this is what we have to do. No, I just need you to be there at 8 because they're going to be there to do this. But when it comes to our culture of men, sometimes what I see is that they're placing everything on us and they want us to kind of just figure it out and they'll come along for the ride. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Believe it or not, feminine women want the input of their man. They want you to take some of that pressure off of us because you're leaving it to us to make the decisions on everything. That puts us in a masculine lead and that makes us stressed. And you can't thrive as a feminine woman when you're constantly stressed. So I know we've been conditioned to think, okay, your man just lets you make all the decisions. He lets you do everything. Oh, that's great. No, it's not actually. When he puts you in a position, hi, Denise, how are you, Miss Denise? When he puts you in a position where you have to make all of the decisions, that's not like freedom. That's not liberation for a feminine woman. For a man to say to her, no, you got it, whatever you want to do. Well, maybe you're coming to him because you're not sure of what to do and you want that leadership. I remember having a conversation with my husband earlier on in our marriage, and I was telling him how my kids, you know, I baby them and you baby me. That's what I need. It's like when I got to the point where I started to just tell him straight out what I wanted, because it's not that he wasn't already doing it, but, and this is another thing, when you have decided to become a feminine woman and really lead and lean into that part of yourself, you have no problem telling people exactly what you want. Because when it comes to the emotional aspect and the affection and all of that, some men, they just don't have it. They just don't. And my husband, thank God he had it, but in certain areas, it was just, you know. So I had to tell him one day, I said, I baby them and I need you to baby me. And he would do that when we weren't having an argument or when everything was fine. But when I was out of sorts, he really didn't know how to like receive me in that way, because he was accustomed to me just bouncing back. He was accustomed to me having that just, oh, she'll get over it type of thing and just move on. And I started getting to the point where it was like, no, I'm not just going to get over this. I'm not just moving on. I want to cry this thing out. I'm going to lean in my emotions a little bit here because I'm a woman and I can do that. I don't have to just push past how I'm feeling. And when he saw that, he didn't know how to receive it, because he was accustomed to me being that masculine woman, that strong warrior that can just push past anything. And I got to the point where I don't want to do that anymore. I have responsibility to care for my children and nurture them. And then what a lot of men don't understand is, as feminine women, they're depleting our energy too. And it's not always in a bad way. We're nurturing them, we're caring for them, we're there for them emotionally, we're making a house, a home, we're that softer, gentler, peaceful place for them to lay their head. We are that place for them to express themselves, to, get out their feelings when they want to talk about things at work, spiritual matters. We are all that for them, in addition to helping them with things according to maybe business or the house or whatever other things they might have going on. It's a lot of emotional strain on us as feminine women. And a lot of men don't understand that, because for so long, women have been able to just go along, business as usual, emotionally depleted, physically exhausted, but still take care of the kids, cook dinner, go to work, pay the bills, paying half the bills, shopping for everybody, making everybody's appointments, doing all these different things, and never shed a tear. She's just as strong as she want to be. And the men think that, that's something to be proud of her for. That's my warrior. That's my trooper. That's my whatever else they want to apply. My strong Black woman. All because we never allowed ourselves to be seen as that completely human that we are. And as feminine women, we have to learn how to get away from neglecting our emotional and mental well-being in order to make them think that we are stronger than what we are. Because I can tell you, when you are with a man that is strong, he will understand. When he's strong and he's in his masculine, he will understand that as a woman, you are the weaker vessel, and he has to treat you as such. And it's not weaker to the point where you can't take care of yourself, you can't do what you have to do. Of course, I believe God created us to be able to withstand some things. And what I can say from my experience, there's been times where, and I don't do this much anymore, but sometimes I do, because sometimes you do have to do what you have to do. But there's been times where I'm completely exhausted. I'm tired, might have cramps or something, still got to get the kids from school, and then I'll go to work. Do I really feel like doing that? No. But sometimes I push past it and say, you know what? I want that extra day on my check. I'm going to do it. Do I absolutely have to do it? That's the difference. No, I do not. And that's the point we want to get to where you feel like, as a woman, you have a choice on whether or not you're going to run your body down. And it's never a good idea to do so. And when you feel tired, you have to speak up. Feminine women, we do not just trudge through and have people thinking that we feel great when we do not. I'm not saying you walk around saying, woe is me, woe is me. I'm sorry, it's fussing and arguing, putting you in a masculine energy. If you are argumentative, that is seen, in my opinion, as masculine. If everything is a fight for you, that could be seen as masculine. I know a lot of women who, every battle is theirs. And for me, every battle is not mine. My husband can say something, or he might do something in a certain way that I don't necessarily like. But if it is not detrimental to our family or our well-being, I let it go. Every argument is not yours. So fussing and arguing, it can put you in a masculine stance. But, of course, if you're married or you're in a relationship with somebody for a long time, you're going to have arguments. You're going to have fussing. But it's how are you arguing? Because I know me and my husband, we have to get to the point where we don't argue in a way that we're like two hood guys on the street. And we used to argue that way, where it was like we were ready to fight. And we never got physical. But I mean, it was that intense. So no, fussing and arguing doesn't necessarily put you in the masculine. It doesn't make you a masculine woman. Of course, you're being more aggressive, but if you are argumentative, then yes, that, in my opinion, that will put you more in the masculine energy, because you're constantly looking for things to argue about. And as feminine women, we don't do that. We don't look for things to argue and be irritated about, in my opinion. I hope that answered your question. Yeah, men, sometimes they be doing stuff They got their little ways about them. And when they have their little way, my husband has his way too. You got to make him miss you. I just go ahead upstairs. I work on my beads, or I'll go out to store, bookstore, do something, make them miss you. You'll get the text, where you at? Or, oh, or did you make it there yet? Or everything okay? You know, they just be doing stuff sometimes. But yeah, as feminine women, we can't, like I was saying, go about having people think that we feel better than what we do. Even when I'm at work sometimes, they'll ask me, hey, how's it going? How you feeling? My head hurts. My back hurts. Yes, I will say it. And I don't feel bad about it because I have nothing to prove. I'm 38 years old. I have 2 teenagers. I have a business life outside of my job. It's just like, I can't worry about if somebody perceives me as being weak, because I'm not weak. I'm a woman. I'm delicate. And that's okay. I don't need to prove that, I'm standing here all this time and I feel no pain. I'm not irritated. I'm just perfect. No, I'm not. I'm maintaining. I'm okay. But yeah, a little tired. I could go for a nap. I have no problem saying those kind of things. I used to be the kind of woman that would say, oh, you ever meet somebody and they're like, you ask them how they doing, they say blessed and highly favored, but they say it with an attitude. You don't seem blessed and highly favored from the fact that you smacked your lips and rolled your eyes when I said it. So, like, we don't put on, like, my point of saying that is that as feminine women, we don't put on a show. Like, we're not, we don't have to prove that we're stronger than what we are. When our strength has to be utilized, it will be seen by all. We don't have to put on and make it seem like, yeah, I'm this, whatever. For what? Especially, like, I understand when you're in your 20s, because when I was in my late teens, my 20s, I was trying to still figure things out, proving myself in the world, trying to decide the kind of woman I want to be. But once I got into my 30s, it's like, girl, relax. I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. And I'm not talking about tired like I don't want to have any more ambition. I don't want to do anything. I mean, running around hustling the way I was as a woman, it just was like enough already. Enough. And I still do what I do, but I do it in a different way. And as feminine women, we have to understand that the way we move matters. You can still be a woman of many accomplishments. You can do what you need to do, but not in a way that is going to deplete your energy and drain you. Not in a way that is going to allow you to have to take on the cares of everybody else. We want to get out of the lead unless it is in our role in a employer position. Okay? So this was my first live, and I must say I'm liking this. I'm going to come back on soon, but becoming the woman you want to become, it requires you, the number one is to allow whoever is in your life, your husband, to take the lead, and you have to be willing to rest in your femininity and say as much. All right? Hit the like button, share this live, because it's going to benefit us as we elevate into that new demographic of woman that we desire to be. If you don't want to be perceived as this masculine, I can do it all, she can do it all, I'm gonna put all these weights on her back kind of woman, you need to subscribe to this channel, because we need to teach people that we are just as delicate as the next type of woman, as the next race of woman. If they are being treated delicately by their husbands, by the people in their circles, we need to be treated delicately as well. But it starts with us. It starts with how we treat ourselves and how we treat other people. It starts with the way we actually communicate with our husbands to let them know exactly what we want and how we want to be treated. And when you tell them that, you don't come to them like, so this is what you want to do. This is what it's not going to be. One last thing. I was on TikTok and I saw a lady, she's married, and she decided out of the blue, I'm done paying bills. I'm done paying bills. I'm done going to work. You're supposed to be the head of the household. You lead. She just randomly decided to that one day and told him, I'm not paying no more bills. She might have a right to do that, but the way she went about it is wrong. If you program your man to become accustomed. He's accustomed to you paying half the bills and doing all these different things. And you suddenly decide that one day I'm not doing it no more. That's not right. You have to kind of lead up to that. You have to start programming your husband to understand that you're no longer going to be taking this dominant role as the lead or the sub lead in the relationship. I now desire to be a woman in our relationship. I desire to be a feminine woman. She had kids. She had 5 kids. She should have went about it over time, just kind of falling back on different things, paying more attention to the kids, maybe not taking so many shifts at work. All of a sudden he'll see her. Oh, you here? Oh yeah, I called out today. I'm home. I'm relaxing. I'm going to be with the kids. I took the kids out. When he starts seeing her doing more of the things that are domestic and more of the nurturing, mothering type of things with the children. Oh, me and the kids are at the library. Me and the kids are doing this, or I went shopping. Oh, I cooked full course meal here. He wouldn't have gotten that if you were at work. You have to lead up to those things and condition the man to see you in a different light. When he starts seeing the benefits of you being home opposed to you out there doing the exact same thing he's doing, he will begin to become comfortable taking more of the lead. And then gradually over time, you'll begin to see, okay, things are starting to be in balance. Things are starting to be the way they're supposed to be. He's taking the lead as head of household. I am the nurturer. I am the mother. I will step in and help where I need to, but I am no longer taking that dominant position. She should have done that little by little instead of springing on him that one day. And I can imagine from his response that she was taking on a lot more responsibility than what she was supposed to because of his response. She's probably paying over half of the bills. She's probably not only taking care of the 5 kids, paying over half the bills, cleaning, cooking. It's never 50-50. Even when a woman is paying half the bills, she's still doing like 80, 90, and it's like 10%. Because a lot of men, and this is my opinion, they go out to work, they come home, and when they come home, because a lot of women, it's how it is, the man will work all during the day. She may have a little night job during the night, especially if she has younger kids and she doesn't have childcare. She has to wait for him to come home and go to work. Meanwhile, her entire day has been spent catering to the needs of the family, making sure the house is clean, making sure the dinner is done, making sure whatever errands need to be ran were ran, all before she goes to work. The husband, he'll come home, he'll see the kids, he'll see the dinner, he'll eat the dinner, and maybe put the dinner up. That's about it. He might throw a load of laundry in if you remind him, but it's never 50-50. And I really want us to get out of that mindset. And I really wish that more men would wake up in that way and understand that it's never 50-50. And 50-50 is not good, but it's always like 80-20. A woman is always doing more than the man when it comes to the household. That's just the way it is. The man might provide all the money, but even still, if there's a man providing all the money for the household, the woman is still running around doing everything else. Of course, this doesn't apply to all households, but it applies to many. So, as a feminine woman, the point of this is that you have to program and condition people to how to start treating you as a feminine woman. All right. So that you can become the woman you want to become, and people around you will understand that. All right. Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. And I'm going to try to upload more often. More than likely, I'm going to be doing a lot more lives. This channel is for women who are looking to elevate and lean into their femininity. I'm going to be discussing more content in regards to starting a business, in regards to just becoming more nurturing with your children, taking care of a special needs child, being young and married. I have so much to share. So like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Take care.